Hey everybody, back again working on the Cadillac on the LS swap. We're going to do a number of different things. We're working on trying to figure out where the ECM goes. We got a fuel tank and sender unit to work on. Trying to get some wiring, getting things, starting to dress the front of the engine up and get the accessories in place. We've left the accessories off while we're taking the engine in and out. So a number of different things coming today. So in things to work with, we have the ECM and a wiring harness, and things are partially prepped. We just need to find a spot where we're going to place the ECM that allows the wire lengths to be about right, is able to make the right connections on the engine. We're working on the front here. The water pump is on just with a couple of bolts, power steering pump. The power steering pulley needs to get changed. There's a new one, and that'll be coming soon. We had to get it mounted to the engine first, so you got a place to attach the puller and work from. Get it mounted stable, I'll call it. We're still not sure we're done with the mounts and the mounting brackets. When we got all done here and made adjustments, the oil pan is still fairly close to the cross member, probably only about a 1/4 inch, and I'd really like to see a 1/2 inch or more. So we're looking. I mean, these were aftermarket, brackets that we modified because we were having trouble getting it assembled. And anyway, we're still looking. We're contemplating finding a set of stamped mounts like the GM ones that will sit better on the rubber mount brackets. It's just a lot of small things to go now. Now that we think we have the engine positioned, even though we're looking at the mounts, we still, the engine's pretty much positioned where it's going to be, so we're going to start working on those.
I'm working on the throttle cable right now. The hole in the firewall is way too big for the threaded piece on here, so looked inside, made sure there's no wires in the way. I drilled a small pilot hole below that square opening, so I think I'm gonna end up putting it there. But just kind of showing along the way. Alright, I got the hole drilled. Looks like it's the perfect size to match up with the threaded size for the firewall. So I just need to adjust the length of this cable so I don't have this huge loop up here, and get that part mounted on.
We'll start by cleaning up the holes for the water pump. These are, what are they, 8mm by 1 1/4, 1.25. And some of the holes were a little corroded, so we're just chasing them out before we put the water pump on for good. As we're pulling things together here, we got the original battery cables and this power connection. But there are some things different on this engine than the old Oldsmobile-based engine. For one, the starter motor is on the opposite side. So this cable that was supposed to go down to the starter motor is going to be way too short. And so we have a few different connection issues. Dan's gone back to the Avalanche. He kept all the stuff that came with the engine from the Avalanche. And so we have one that we can get from the battery. If he straightens this lug out, this will go to that terminal point that I just showed up here in the front of the car. We can connect it right there in place of the factory one. We'll have an extra break-off point here, but this goes, what did this one connect to? Alternator.
Alternator,
this is
and that actually bolts to the bracket.
So that bolts to the alternator. alternator feed goes right in. So we got a second red 12-volt connection point, which is not a big deal. It's good. And then I say this goes down to the starter motor. We have more cable, and that'll feed down and around the engine and should reach the starter motor.
That's actually the piece that pulled out of the
solenoid. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we ended up breaking the solenoid, getting it out of the car because it was so corroded that we couldn't get that. Even though it's a copper stud, it wouldn't come loose. Very good. Yeah, that looks like a great, and we've lined it up, and this all should reach. So that's kind of step one. Where's the power coming from? So we're going to take a look at the wiring harnesses. We're trying to locate the ECM in the car and make connections. So this is what the engine harness looks like, spread out on the driveway. And there's a connection relay box.
So that'll go.
And there's the original ECM with a set of aftermarket brackets on it that we're going to use for mounting. Hopefully, anyway.
Yep.
All right, so you started with the factory harness off the engine, correct? So these connectors at the ends are the original pieces off the car, to Avalanche to begin with.
Yep.
So all of these, and they're labeled very carefully which sensor or device they went to. There's the IAC, TPS, yep, coolant. So all of those can go back, and you needed to connect, and so they go back to the connectors for the ECM here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so tell me what else. So tell me what else you did.
So it was a lot of thinning out of the harness, taking out sensors that weren't used, like the air conditioning sensors got pulled out, and then there were the rear O2 sensors, so those are pulled out of here too. Pulled all the wiring, pulled the pin out from up here.
Okay.
I saved all that wiring just in case I ever need it, but if I can find it in the...
But your intent is to set up the O2 and run the car with normal emissions and catalysts.
Yep.
But the rear O2 OBD2 part is
Gone.
Yep. Is not connected.
Yep.
Which really makes sense because you're the calibrations will be all gone because you're doing different. You'll have different catalysts when you're done.
Instructions. I think I got these. Printed this off of Facebook, but it was from lt1swap.com.
Okay.
And it was a step-by-step of what needs to come off. A lot of these breakout boxes came off. Connectors got cut off. So just took my time, went through each step, and made the harness a little bit lighter.
Okay. And if in doubt, you retained some things that you had questions on that you thought might have future use, so you didn't take out everything.
Right.
Okay. And who did you had someone do the calibration for you?
It was actually the same guy who put this together. I believe his name was Brendan.
Oh, I see it up there.
Yep.
Okay, Brendan.
So he did the computer as well. I sent that to him and told him everything about the setup that we were doing so he could program fans and pretty much everything about the car, tire size, gear ratio, anything I could think of, I told him.
Okay. He had to swap it from four-wheel drive to two-wheel drive and take those features out.
Yep.
Okay. So he gave you it's factory calibration, except certain features are turned off that aren't appropriate to the car.
Correct. Yep.
And he set it up so that you're, like you said, tire size, gears, and so forth. So the ECM should know road speed.
Yes. Yep.
and make calculations correctly. Okay. Then what are the extra ones over here?
All the extra ones are either going to be tied into the dash or they're going to tie into the fuse block.
Okay. Did these come as part of the kit, or were these just part of the factory harness?
Some of them I had to extend up. Like I know the pink ones
Okay.
I had to extend up. But then...
Okay, so is that inside what you wrapped here?
Yes.
Okay, so you made splices in here and wrapped it.
Yep.
Okay.
Because they were going other directions when they were in the Avalanche.
All right.
But a lot of this stuff is original to the truck.
Okay.
But the pink ones are power for
Okay.
injectors and sensors.
Coils, injectors, battery supply. Okay. So you went through basically the pinout of every wire on the ECM from, this yellow wire has a function. Where does it go and where will it need to go?
Yep.
All right. And what's in this one? I keep calling it relay kit, but
Yeah, this one, let me see if I can pop the tops off.
because it is a relay kit. It's relay and fuse block.
Yeah, relays and fuses. So, actually labeled it. AC, once I get the AC compressor and stuff going. Electric fans 1 and 2. And then in my book here I've got it where it tells what each fuse does. And then there's a cheat sheet that says what each wire does.
Okay.
So the end plan, most of these will tie into the wires here. And then these ones are power going out to the fans, fuel pump. The big red one goes to the battery to get power for all of this.
Okay.
And this will also power up the computer. The orange ones will match up to these. So
Okay.
it just splits it out.
All right. Yeah, you've done. I know over the winter and that you've done a lot of tracing, and we've talked back and forth several times about, how do you do this circuit versus that circuit?
Right. So these ones are labels of what each wire that comes off of the fuse block does. Pink switched ignition, AC request, battery power, fans, and then all of these are the engine connections. So these will all go into the harness wires.
Okay.
So chassis, engine connection side.
All right. Very good. Okay. So all your wires are all lined up. We just need to decide how to mount things.
Yep. Then it also came with the OBD2.
Oh, okay. So you've got an OBD connector to install.
Yep.
All right. Hey, that looks good. Okay.
Lots of fun.
Lots of fun. Well, and that's what you need to be able to do. I mean, you need to be able to go from each sensor back to the ECM, and if it ties into the car, then you've got to have wires. I see the one there that says OBD2. That must go back to that breakout.
Yep.
And you've got fuse panels in the car, but because of this engine, you've got new fuses that you need to run. Okay, so we need to figure out where we want to put that and where we're going to mount that. Both of them look like they're probably on the driver's side of the car up front somewhere.
I think so.
And now that the engine is in sitting on mounts, we know how much clearance we need and have a little better idea where we're going to go.
I don't know if I showed that page, but that was the fuse block and relays.
Okay. Good. All right. All right. Well, let's dig in. Oh, that's nice. This is Dan went ahead and got a large selection of weather packs, so he can build connectors you know, you got both sets, and you got a selection of seals, a wide selection of pins, and what is this one? DIY Auto Tune. And these, they said, were genuine Aptiv, Aptiv Delphi slash original. These are nice. Those are nice. So you can build all kinds of connectors for doing things like hooking up the gas tank.
Yeah, everything from 1 to a 6-pin.
Fantastic. And then you got the terminate tools and the clipper.
Yeah, and this actually came with one of them.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
I've got a duplicate of tools probably. And then I got the crimp tool.
Excellent. Oh, that'll help you a bunch. Because as you're doing wiring harnesses, I mean, you've got the wires, but in some of these cases, you're going to want to hook into. You're either going to want to hook into vehicle stuff that's weather pack, or you're going to want to put a connector in somewhere where one doesn't exist. Very nice. No, I hadn't seen that one before. That's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Something else of note. This one is the purge solenoid. Now this car had a vapor canister that sits over here, and it originally pulled with a solenoid valve and into the intake manifold, and I'm pretty sure with the carburetor it was ported spark. You don't have that on this engine. There's not a good place to pick it up. We were looking at that as an option, but the answer is that this one comes with a purge valve that goes into the intake manifold that's driven off the ECM. And Dan had already pulled the wires out of the harness because he didn't think he needed it. I think his instructions said he wouldn't need it, but as we looked at it, you're going to want to vent the tank to the canister just like before. So he's got the wires, he saved them with he's still got the pin on the connector, and that one will get wired back into the ECM. And the calibrator for the ECM said this circuit is working. The ECM will drive it correctly. He just turned off the OBD2 trouble code for it, but the function will work, so that's good for us. We've been looking around at where we want to put the ECM, and based on where the fans and the radiator goes across here, and the fans are behind, but they're electric and we have some space. It looks like the ECM will sit down here behind this sheet metal brace. We got some aftermarket brackets that obviously don't bolt straight up, but this looks like the first try at least will be to see if we can get, Dan can fab some connection brackets to tuck that in better. And then the fuse block we have space where the fuse block can go up against this brace, and wires can route from there. And then, you know, there are braces here that go over the top, and there's a washer fluid bottle that fits in here. So this is looking like it's a pretty good try. So I think that's where we'll stop for now. More later.